Hi, I'm Rachel Weiss, Head of Training at Rowan Consultancy, and I'm here to tell you a bit about the COSCA certificate in counselling skills. This is like the gold standard training course if you want to get a qualification in counselling skills. And it can lead on to a career in counselling, or you can do it as an end in itself. So here's Rowan Consultancy, where we're based in Perth. If you choose to do the face-to-face option, that's where you'll be, using our counselling rooms as practice rooms for your skills. And here's our aim, which is to help people lead more satisfying lives. Delivering the training course is just one way that we do that. We do it in many different ways. And we hope to have a ripple effect that, for example, as you get better counselling skills, that will benefit you, but also your relationships, your work colleagues, and ultimately make the world a better place. We believe everyone needs good listening skills or counselling skills. It's a useful life skill. We do various things. Most relevant to you will be counselling, which means that all your trainers are qualified practicing counsellors. They're not just counselling skills practitioners, but they are counsellors doing the work. We do training, coaching, workplace mediation, and critical incident debriefing. Back to the certificate. So COSCA is the national body for counselling and psychotherapy in Scotland, and they designed this course, I think about 2004, and they validate various different providers to deliver the certificate course. So you can do it with Rowan, which we hope you will, but you can also do it with other providers, and there's a list of the different organisations who offer this same certificate. You can find the list on the COSCA website. The course is credit rated by Edinburgh Napier University, which means they've said it's worth 40 credits if you do the full certificate of 120 hours. We deliver that spread over a year, about 3 hours a week. And they've rated the academic level as SCQF level 8. That's about the equivalent of advanced higher, or A-levels if you're in the English education system. So it does require a certain amount of being able to write and express yourself and answer the question clearly and concisely. So if you haven't studied for a while, you might want to brush up on those skills. You might want to find a study buddy who can perhaps help you, and your trainer at Rowan will give you some assistance too. The course aim is to help you improve your understanding of other people as well as of yourself. We need to understand ourselves in order to help other people better. So you'll learn how to support other people by using these practical listening skills. You'll increase your own self-awareness of your prejudices, your blind spots, your trigger points, so that you can respond better when you're listening. And you'll learn how to build rapport with other people. We deliver it online and face-to-face at Rowan. If it's online, you will need a private room at home, a laptop or a desktop. It really doesn't work well on a phone because you'll need to have different handouts and documents open at the same time. Strong internet connection. So if you're sharing the house with anyone else, they might need to be off the internet while you're doing the sessions with us. And a webcam so we can see and hear you. If you're doing it face-to-face, then you'd come to our premises in Perth City Centre. So you need to be able to travel there. The cost of the certificate at the moment is £420 per module. That's £350 plus VAT. Or if you can afford to pay for the whole lot up front, that saves us quite a lot of work, and therefore you get a slight discount and pay £1,550 for the whole certificate if you can pay that in a one-er at the beginning. Otherwise, do £420 per module for the 4 modules. You might be eligible for a SARS part-time free grant. Have a look at their website and see. That grant is $428, so it just about covers a quarter of the fees for you. And at the moment, to be eligible, you have to earn less than 25k, and there are various other eligibility criteria. Have a look at their website, that's SARS part-time free grant, to see if they might be able to help with some of the fees. So to the course, there are 4 main threads to the course, which I'll talk you through. There's theory, the theory of counselling. Here's more in the latter 2 modules, 3 and 4. You'll learn about different approaches to counselling, like cognitive behavioural, gestalt, person-centred, transactional, humanistic, psychodynamic. And in the first two modules, you'll do a bit of theory on, say, bereavement and loss, for example, sexuality, spirituality, and how to listen. The first two modules really focus on those practical skills of listening. So can you allow silence, how to reflect back a feeling or content, how to avoid giving advice, not to ask too many questions. You may have these skills already, but if you don't, you will learn them and practice them, and they come with practice. So that's theory and skills. The third thread is ethics. It is quite a responsibility to be listening to people who are often in a vulnerable state when they're talking to you. So it's very important that any qualified listener has a thorough grounding in ethical behavior and ethical considerations like confidentiality, for example. So that's a thread in every single module. It's ethics and self-awareness. You need to be able to reflect on yourself. A lot of people do the course to help other people, which is fine. And then for some people, it's a shock to realize that in order to help, we can help other people best when we are grounded in ourselves and aware of ourselves so that we can hold boundaries. So that's a large part of the course as well. Theory, skills, ethics, and self-awareness. At the end of each of the 4 modules, you need to pass the assessment before you can progress to the next module. Each assessment has these 3 components for each of the modules. Skills practice, your trainer will observe you doing your skills, listening to fellow students, and there'll be a tick list that you'll have in the front of your handbook of the skills you need to demonstrate and they need to see. And they'll keep you informed throughout the module of how many of these skills they've seen and which ones you still have to demonstrate. So you need to show that you've got the skills by the end of the module. Submit a written assignment, which shows that you've understood the theory, and also you then write what you've learned about yourself as well. And again, the headings that you need to cover are all clearly laid out in the handbook. And you give a short presentation to your fellow students at the end of each module. So you speak to them for maybe up to 5 minutes on your personal learning journey through the module. What have you learned about yourself, about group dynamics, those kind of things. That's not to cover the theory. You cover the theory in the written assignment. Because he's showing that you can reflect on yourself and share that with people. Now, a bit of a health warning. Self-care, doing this course can bring up issues for people. So just check for yourself, what support have you got in place at this time in your life? Is now the right time to do this course? Consider going for counselling yourself. We strongly recommend this, that you go for counselling as a client, but it's not compulsory. There are various benefits which we'll talk through in the open evening and at the beginning of the course, but it means you're experiencing counselling from the other side, and it's a great place of support for you during the course. And choose what you share when you talk to fellow students, when they're practicing listening to you. Remember that they're beginner counsellors, and take care of yourself. Maybe you have to share something that's got some emotion around it, but maybe not your most recent bereavement, but something a bit lighter, like, I don't know, road rage or getting annoyed with colleagues or housemates. We'll talk about that with your trainer at the beginning of the course. So if you do think you've got enough support in place and you're up for learning new skills, you can then acquire the qualification and counselling skills from us and decide what can you do with that next. So many people just stop at the end of the year with their qualification, their certificate in counselling skills. It's just a useful life skill, but it can be useful for getting jobs as well. That certificate shows that you understand about ethics, you understand about confidentiality, you've got good listening skills. So there are a number of occupations where that could be useful. Any job that is looking for those qualities, like a social work assistant, anybody working in a school needs those qualities, HR admin often need those qualities, admin in a lawyer's firm, paid helpers in a school, assistants. So that's how it can be useful. It's not a requirement for any jobs that we know of, but it could boost your application by showing you have those qualities of listening and confidentiality. Or some of you might decide you want to go on to become a qualified counsellor. And then, after the certificate in counselling skills, you're not qualified to be a counsellor yet. You would then need to go on and do a diploma in counselling. Lots of providers offer diplomas. Have a look at the COSCA and BACP websites. That's British Association for Counselling and Psychotherapy. If you already know that you probably want to go on and do a diploma in counselling, have a look at the diploma providers and check their entry requirements. Most of the diploma providers in Scotland want the COSCA certificate as a prerequisite, but not all of them. There might be some who want different entry requirements. So if you're thinking of going on for a diploma in counselling, check out whether they will accept the certificate in counselling skills as an entry. Okay, that's pretty much us. If you'd like to apply, on our website, you'll find the booking form. You'll also find dates of open evenings where I'll give a similar talk, or one of my colleagues will similar talk to this, but then we'll be able to take questions from you and answer any concerns or inquiries that you've got. And in the meantime, do follow us on our social media. We post excerpts from the certificate group so you can see what's going on, and general wellbeing tips. Okay, I hope that was useful, and feel free to just email in if you have any questions, and one of us can ring you up and discuss the certificate with you. Bye for now.